Hello. Hello. Hey. Ah. Hello. Viridescent. Hey Google. What does viridescent mean? Or is it viridescent?
Here's the definition of viridescent. Literary. Greenish or becoming green.
Hello, sir. Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very nice. Wow, this planet is so far away. Oh no, it wasn't in hyperdrive.
Are you going to the hexagonal planet?
Sorry, I can hear very unclearly. Are you close enough to your mic?
Are you going to the hexagonal planet?
Wait, let me go in the menu, that's easier. Okay, if I'm going where?
This planet right here?
I don't know what you mean. Oh, you're here, okay.
Where are you going?
I'm going to that Mammon planet. Want to see what it looks like. I'm looking for a nice planet to build a new base. That's all. Yeah. What's going on with this? Oh, it belongs to this building. Okay.
Haven't been here yet.
And otherwise, have you spent some time on this in this system? Where's your base?
I just got here probably like 10, 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Gravitino ball.
Okay.
This is a burial site too. It's really good. But the animals are insane.
Hmm. I wonder if I have Gravitino balls somewhere. Are you playing No Man's Sky for a long time?
Probably 2 years.
Okay, cool.
Technology recharge.
Okay, let me see. Oh.
Found something called
Oh yeah, you can mine them.
Hostile scan detected. Warning. Threat detected. Hostile ships approaching.
Hello. Hey, do you want to talk? Are you talking?
Hostile scan detected. Warning. Threat detected. Hostile ships approaching.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'm going to answer some questions from the internet. You are in an open field, armed with a baseball bat. Picture that. Okay. How many 10-year-olds wearing bike helmets could you take down before they get you?
Just a wave of 10-year-olds coming at you, Game of Thrones.
Oh, it wouldn't matter. I'd get them all. Absolutely. Oh, I'd fucking destroy those kids. 10 years old? Oh, they're fucked. Yeah, I'd be Jon Snow. I'd be Jon Snow all over that shit. Just fucking 10-year-old bodies all over the place. Those little idiots. What are they gonna do to me? Idiots. Would you rather live in a world where everyone but you is male or female? Female. Absolutely. Yeah, female, no doubt. I find men to be extremely irritating. I prefer women on almost every level. Do you think there are more porn stars or murderers in the world? Now, when you say murderers, are we talking about like people who have murdered or people who desire to murder? And enjoyed murdering and want to murder more? Not just like somebody who murdered and was like, I feel bad. Oh, I see. Okay, anyone who's murdered. Murderers. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about the whole world here. 50,000 straight to your bank account or 500,000 in pennies. Can't convert the pennies. Ooh. I'll go with $500,000 because I think it'd be real fun to have to pay for something that's $1,000 and bring in a shit ton of pennies. I just think that'd be hysterical. So yeah. Yeah. You have one free throw shot. If you make it, you get $1 million. If you miss it, you can never text again. Do you take the shot? No. I don't take the shot. What? Yeah, I can hit it. I can hit it. But it's still not worth it. I mean, you know.
You're rich, whatever.
Yeah, I'm already rich. Ooh, 10 million? Yeah, 10 million. I'd take the shot. I'd take the shot. Yeah. Would you rather be the president, the pope, or the ruler of North Korea? The president. Yeah, I can do it. Look who's president right now. I think I got it. Yeah, I think I got it. President Trump can do it, then I can definitely do it. That guy's a fucking idiot. Would you rather have a dick as your nose or a nose as your dick? I mean, that's just crazy. I'd rather have a dick as my nose. Yeah, I'd pick something else. Would you rather have your girlfriend's hair or your girlfriend has your hair? Oh. I think that my girlfriend has my hair. I got good hair. What do you want from me? It's good hair. There were stats available for every aspect of your life. What 3 stats would you want to see? Yeah, I'd be curious. Like, how many drinks have I had in a lifetime? That'd be interesting. How many people dislike me as a human being? Like, not like that dislike me from television, but like, how many people have I like actually pissed off in real life? Because no, because I've actually tried really hard not to piss people off. I actually consider myself kind of a good person, in spite of the characters that I play. But I'm sure there are people out there who are like, oh yeah, I fucking hate that guy. He did X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, what? I did what? You've been put in charge of running Heck. Heck? The afterlife for people. The afterlife for people not evil enough for hell. What's the first torture you design? Not evil enough for hell. Cut their tongues out. I just don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear about it.
Bro, what would you do if you ran hell? Shit. That's what happened in Heck.
I'd cut off anything that sticks out. Would you rather have half your teeth or half your hair? Well, half my hair. I mean, half my teeth. That would be a problem on many levels. I'd rather have half my hair. Yeah.
Voici Max. Comme nous tous, Max a plein de projets pour le futur. Il envisage de se constituer un capital au fil des années pour assurer sa retraite, aider ses enfants et peut-être même acheter une maison de vacances. Max se demande comment il va bien pouvoir réaliser ses rêves. Max a le bon réflexe. Il demande conseil à ING qui lui propose un Investplan. L'Investplan est un plan d'investissement périodique sans frais qu'ING a conçu pour des personnes qui, comme Max, souhaitent que leurs économies leur apportent plus. Pas besoin d'être un expert de la finance ou de disposer de sommes importantes pour investir. L'Investplan est accessible dès 50 € par mois. Ce montant est alors placé dans un fonds d'investissement géré par ING et adapté selon le profil d'investisseur. À tout moment, Max peut suivre l'évolution de son Investplan et modifier la fréquence ou encore le montant de ses versements. En cas de coup dur, Max sait qu'il peut également suspendre ses versements, voire même récupérer son argent et tout cela sans frais. Grâce à son Investplan, Max investit dès maintenant pour en profiter plus tard. Vous aussi, vous avez des rêves, comme Max. Souscrivez dès maintenant à votre Investplan. Découvrez notre offre ainsi que les conditions sur www.ing.lu.
Hi, I'm Charlie Day, and I'm going to be doing Wired Complete. What is it? What am I doing? The Wired Autocomplete interview. Here it goes. The burning question. Is Charlie Day a Democrat? This is people's top concern. Honestly, I don't know what I am. Sometimes I'm a Democrat, sometimes I'm not. I don't care. If you're someone who cares about what I care about, don't care, because I don't care. If you want to know how I feel about politics, I'm against it. Is Charlie Day a smoker? I'm not a smoker, guys. It'll give you cancer. Was that a Democratic answer? I don't know. Is Charlie Day related to Steve Carell? I don't think so. I'm gonna guess no, but maybe we should do some DNA research. Is Charlie Day Canadian? I'm not Canadian, but I've been to Canada, and I liked it a lot, and I love to find people in Canada, so that's a compliment. Is Charlie Day in Star Wars? No! No. That is John Boyega. You got the two of us mixed up again. There's more? All right. Can Charlie Day ice skate? Yes, I can ice skate. Played hockey in high school. Can Charlie Day actually play the piano? I can actually play the piano. I couldn't play in Carnegie Hall, but I can pluck out a tune. Charlie Day, can you imagine? I get it, man. No, I can't imagine, but it happened, folks. Where did Charlie Day go to college? I went to Merrimack College in North Andover, Massachusetts. Where does Charlie Day live? I live in Los Angeles most of the time. Where did Charlie Day grow up? I grew up in Middletown, Rhode Island. Where Charlie Day? Does Charlie Day? Good question. Does Charlie Day have a Twitter? I do not have a Twitter. Don't care for it, Twitter. Ruining the world, Twitter is. Does Charlie Day have siblings? I have an older sister. What does Charlie Day say? Huh? You Googled what does Charlie Day say? He says, what are you talking about, man? Does Charlie Day play hockey? A lot of hockey questions. I did play some hockey in my heyday. I don't play hockey anymore. Does Charlie Day have a PhD? I do have a PhD. I have an honorary PhD from Merrimack College. Myself, Mike Tyson, and Kermit the Frog. Does Charlie Day have a brother? I do not have a brother that I know of. How much does Charlie Day weigh? Well, that depends. Somewhere around 150 pounds, give or take. Does Charlie Day wear eyeliner? I do not wear eyeliner. I was born with very dark lines under my eyes, and I got teased about it in my childhood. But no, I don't wear eyeliner. Who does Charlie Day remind me of? I'm going to say that's probably Brad Pitt. Where does Charlie Day get his shirts? This one's from a company called Vince. How about that? I love these questions. When did Charlie Day graduate college? In 1998. When did Charlie Day meet his wife? In December of 2001. When did Charlie Day get married? March 4th, 2006. Why do people want to know all this stuff? I'm feeling violated. When Charlie Day vacation? Every now and then I really start to worry about people. When Charlie Day vacation? When he gets some free time. That wasn't Charlie Day vacation. What Charlie Day? What is Charlie Day? For real life. Probably exactly what you'd expect. What height is Charlie Day? I'm just about a smidge under 5'7". I didn't quite make it to 5'7", and my dreams were crushed. What is the tattoo on Charlie Day's arm? It's my character on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia tattoo, and he tried to tattoo bad news on his arm, but it hurt too much, and he also spelled it wrong, so the tattoo says bad news. What color are Charlie Day's eyes? They're greenish. What shoes does Charlie Day wear? Sneakers, dress shoes, boots, and gym shoes sometimes. Does Charlie Day do stand-up? I do not do stand-up, so I'll leave that to the professionals. Does Charlie Day have a kid? I do have a child. I'm a daddy. Who Charlie Day? Who was Charlie Day in the Legos movie? Legos plural. I was Benny the space guy. Who does Charlie Day sound like? God forbid any other poor soul. Who plays Charlie Day's boss? I guess if it's horrible bosses, it was Jennifer Aniston. Who Charlie Day commencement speech? The Who was me. I gave a commencement speech at Merrimack College. The Who, I guess, was the college, and the Who was, you can find it on the internet. What is that question? Who is Charlie Day's father? That would be Thomas Day. Is Charlie Day in New Girl? I've never been in the show New Girl. Is Charlie Day atheist? That's loaded. I don't know. Agnostic, maybe. Is Charlie Day from Philadelphia? I'm not from Philadelphia. I'm born in New York City, and then I grew up in Rhode Island. My dad's from Philly, though, and I got family there. Is Charlie Day left-handed? I am right-handed. Is Charlie Day in The Notebook? Yes, that was me in The Notebook. And Ryan Gosling, he filled in for like a scene, but mostly that was my performance. Hey guys, thanks for Googling me, and I hope that I answered all your burning questions. And just to reiterate, once again, yes, that was me in The Notebook.
Hi, I'm Charlie Day. I'm going undercover on the internet, and this is actually me. Let's talk.
All right, here we go.
Twitter. This is a good one. Ruby says, watching the video for Prince's Raspberry Beret, and the drummer is definitely Charlie Day, and I screamed. This is true. That was me. It's a time warp thing going on. You cracked the code. I miss Prince. Is it just me, or does anyone else think Charlie Day would make a good Joker? It's probably just you, man. I might pass on that role. Nah, I can do it. Oh, I would want to be the Joker in the local dinner theater musical version of Batman. At your local VFW. Can Charlie Day say something and it not sound mental? No. Yahoo answers. Okay, this is great. This person is anonymous, but it says, does Charlie Day have snake bites? I was watching SNL and it looked like he did. I rarely travel without snakes, and occasionally they get agitated. But you got it. A lot of snake bites on me. Is Charlie Day Jewish? Not that I know of. Could be. Maybe I should do one of those 23andMe's or something and find out. Quora. What are Charlie Day's best films? Well, that's a highly subjective question. But since we're here promoting Hotel Artemis, I'll say Hotel Artemis. How famous is Charlie Day in the USA? Probably the most famous person in America. What kind of American accent does Charlie Day have? Listen! No accent. Nothing. Sorry. What are some biographical facts about Charlie Day? I have some Italian. Until I do that 23andMe and find out that, nope, it's all, I'm just Jewish. From like Russia or something. YouTube. I'm gonna click this video.
Charlie Day, the white version of Kevin Hart. Oh, Lord have mercy. Nobody want to be the white version of Kevin Hart.
I wish. Love Kevin Hart. More Twitter. I wonder how Charlie Day is doing. I hope he's okay. I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm okay. Thanks for asking. That was sweet. Caitlin said this, I guess. Her New Year's resolution is to try, like hell, not to break off every single one of her teeth on Mary's Going Crackers. Birds don't have teeth. Stupid bird. Glenn's got one. The sad truth is, when you have great abs, the temptation to take a selfie while pulling your shirt up will always be there. Don't do it. He must have felt that way back in the day. I see you now, Glenn. There's no more abs. Hang on. So, is Charlie Day actually married to the waitress in Sunny? Yeah. Get with it. All right? Danny's Foot, at Danny DeVito, Trollfoot, LA, 2018. Hey, man, we get it. It's your foot. I don't know what he's after with this foot thing of his. I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I don't know what's going on. This is why Wikipedia is just amazing. At Merrimack, he was active in the On-Stagers, Merrimack Student Theater Organization. He also played varsity baseball for the Warriors baseball team. Only he didn't play varsity baseball. But look, hey man, if you want to believe that I played college baseball, go for it. Next time we talk, let's have some deeper questions. You know, I think we're just scratching the surface of what we can find out about one another. And then I'll start asking you questions. And that'll get real interesting.
Hi, I'm Nick Offerman, and today I'm going undercover on a place I dislike, the internet. It's actually me. I'm not even good at opening laptops. Let's start with Twitter. Hey, Nick Offerman, where does this mustache rate on the Ron Swanson scale? 3 out of 100. Sent. Nick Offerman, I made a bat on the lathe. What do you think? Small. Too small. It was my first headshot. All anyone really needs is a young Nick Offerman to grow with. I don't know. I could do without the earring. Props on the mutton chops. Officially posted. YouTube.
Many people are saying that we are a divided nation.
Offerman 2020? I don't think so. I am not a lawmaker. I'm not trained in the law. I don't think a blowhard performer from NBC should ever consider running for office. Seems like common sense to me. Sent. Why does he use a tumbler instead of a Glencairn? Is he a barbarian? If a vessel holds a beverage without spilling or dripping, then I consider it an appropriate vessel. Wikipedia. That is actually me. Offerman is a die-hard Chicago Cubs and Chicago Bears fan. He and his wife play guitar together in their free time. I would call myself a die-hard Cubs fan. I'm not a die-hard Bears fan. I don't watch a lot of football. My wife and I like to do puzzles together in our free time and make sweet, slow, languorous love. And enter Instagram. I think my neighbor's cat bears a resemblance to one of my favorite Pawnee public employees. I'll take that as a compliment. Transmission complete. Mr. Offerman, aka Ron Swanson, is healing up nicely. Come at me with more portraits. This is a very well-rendered tattoo of my face on human flesh, and I will try to continue living my life in a way that you're not one day sorry. I know what I'm about, son. I'm not sure you do know what you're about. That is a pretty attractive rendering of my several chins. But I'm not sure that Ron would ever wear that shirt. And what planet is behind him? Fascinating. Thank you. What the fuck? My new Ron Swanson tattoo on my forearm. I hope you have a fine collection of long-sleeved shirts. Appreciate the bacon heart. Your work is true, and I wish you a long life. Got to do this Ron Swanson on RRP Lily. Thanks so much, lady. It was lots of fun. There's rather a maritime quality to this tattoo, as well as an uncooked steak, all of which I applaud. Sent. Reddit. Officially on the internets. I'm a 23-year-old black male, and all I want in life is to be Ron Swanson. Don't tell me it's not possible. Don't, please. It's not possible. How long has he been doing this? How powerful is he? How long has he been doing what? And he's probably medium powerful. IMDb. My IMDb trademarks are characters that express a large amount of machismo, deadpan-style delivery, and mustache. A fourth trademark I would add is surprisingly graceful dancer. Posted. Quora. What is the most badass thing about Nick Offerman? His readiness to cry. Submit. Is there anybody in real life like Ron Swanson? Probably not. He's a brilliant fictional creation of some really smart comedy writers. He wouldn't be that appetizing of a person. He'd have high points, but generally would be pretty boring and pedantic. Response transmitted. Yahoo answers, is Nick Offerman really a libertarian? While I admire the philosophy of the libertarian mindset, I think it's proven to be ineffectual in actual governance. So, no, I am not. I'm a free-thinking American. Sent. Who would win in a fight? Chuck Norris or Ron Swanson? Good question. Probably Chuck Norris. He's a trained fighter. And Ron Swanson is a government bureaucrat who can throw a punch, but I think training would win out in the end. Enter. Do women like good mustaches? Some do, some don't. There's no accounting for taste. It's actually me. More Quora. Does Nick Offerman really play the saxophone? I do really play the saxophone, not nearly as well as Duke Silver. I started on the baritone sax in 5th grade and became a pretty competent tenor sax player. I sat first chair in my high school's jazz band and won the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award upon graduation in 1988. And I believe that was considered the peak of my own saxophone career. Sent. Which actors have been influenced by Nick Offerman? Now, how in the world would I know the answer to that question? Anthony Hopkins, I would guess, has been influenced by me. Meryl Streep, I've noticed she's mimicked some of my facial tics, which I take as a compliment. And Benedict Cumberbatch started using facial hair in some of his recent movies, so you tell me. In 4 words, what is Nick Offerman like in real life? Coquettish, cute as hell. That's it for now. I hope that I answered some of your questions, and I've once again confirmed that the internet is not where I would like to be. Oops.
What's up? This is Samuel L. Jackson, and I'm going undercover on the internet. It's actually me. It's actually moi, motherfuckers. Twitter. Dear Samuel L. Jackson, any chance you could record yourself saying, "Back away, motherfucker," to play every time I open my snack cupboard? No fucking way. Bam! Scrolling right along. What role do you get asked about more? Star Wars, Pulp Fiction, or Incredible? Pulp Fiction. Boom! Ah, Graham McDowell. Is this Graham McDowell? Graham McDowell at Graham McDowell / McDowell. Hey, how's your golf game, my man? It's getting better, Graham. I've actually been off for a couple of weeks, and I've been working on my swing. Almost down to my old handicap. We won't talk about what that is, but low single digits. All these Hollywood sequels and spin-offs, and all I want to know is where is Snakes on a Train? I don't know. I don't know where Snakes on a Train is. Be glad to watch it. I'd do it. Snakes were dope enough. Post it, Quora. Does Samuel L. Jackson really like anime? Yeah. Enter. How was Samuel L. Jackson able to get a role as a voice actor in The Incredibles? Brad says when he was writing this, he had the particular actors that he got in mind, and he actually got 95% of the people that he thought of when he was writing. Just lucky, I guess. Who wins in a battle between every single character ever played by Samuel L. Jackson? Mace Windu kicks everybody's ass. He's a Jedi. What's wrong with you? What is the line from Pulp Fiction that Samuel L. Jackson uses where he includes the word smite? Smite. No fucking clue. Let's just strike down upon the victim of superior anger. No, that ain't it. I don't know. Probably somewhere in the car when I'm, pissed off with John about the brains. I don't know. Sorry. Pulp Fiction nerds. IMDb trivia. Was an usher at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral? Yes, I was. The funeral was held on the campus of Morehouse College. I was a student there, asked students to volunteer to help people find their ways from one place to another. I did that. As opposed to other actors and actresses, he enjoys watching his own movies. You motherfucking right, I do. I enjoy my movies. My favorite movie of mine to watch, Long Kiss Goodnight. Yeah. You may not believe it, but it's actually me. 12th grade, he played the French horn and trumpet in the school orchestra. Also played the flute and sometimes piccolo. During childhood, he had a stuttering problem. Yes, I did. While he eventually learned to pretend to be other people who didn't stutter and used the word motherfucker as an affirmation word, he still has days where he stutters. I do. Some days it's, sentences that begin with W's. Some days it's M days. And then there are, sometimes it's S days. But I just say motherfucker and it's done. Motherfuckers. Reddit. My new favorite thing is adding smiles to pictures of Samuel L. Jackson. Sorry, those are not my teeth. Next. Yahoo Answers. What guitar was played by Samuel L. Jackson in Black Snake Moan? It was actually a gift in the Academy Award gift bag that year. It's a Gibson with gold frets and, settings on it. Kind of awesome. Officially on the net. YouTube. Game of Thrones. Please cast Samuel Jackson. He can do an English accent, right? Pay me enough. Posted more Twitter. Does my dog look like Samuel Jackson? Make his whole face brown. We'll talk about it. Is there a better supporting film performance than Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction in the last 30 years? I find that genuinely hard to believe. And what makes you think it was a fucking supporting film? There's an argument to be made that I was a lead actor from beginning of the film, end of the film. You kind of bookend the movie. I might just be a lead actor. I might. Remember when Samuel L. Jackson first got on Twitter and he tweeted at everyone to ask their followers to follow him? That was the fun time. I was stupid. I had no idea what I was doing on Twitter. Well, I joined Twitter on balance one night. I think the first tweet I ever tweeted was kind of motherfucker say fuck on me. And I didn't know how you got that. I thought you did have to ask. So, follow followers from people there. Ask people to tell people, hey, that guy's got a Twitter. Follow him. So, I'm stupid. Hi, Samuel L. Jackson. Still digging handball? Hope you learned the rules since London. What? Alright, who knows the rule in this handball shit? It's fast and serious. Oh, that was my tweet from the Olympics. And, what's that game? No, I don't know the rules. I still like watching it. People running around throwing balls and trying to throw them in the net. Kind of fun. Didn't know it was an Olympic sport, though. Submit. More Quora. Can actors who use swords in their roles hold their own in a real sword fight? Sam Jackson, Mace Windu. I don't know exactly what that means in terms of what you want to know. There was a time when you went to acting school, fencing was a part of your requirement, so a lot of us did that. But the majority of fighting is choreographed. The lightsaber battles takes a long time to learn, though, or it did when I was doing it. The last one I had with the Emperor was 99 moves through 3 rooms backwards for me. So 2 weeks in sneakers and shorts, 2 weeks in boots, another week in Jedi robe boots, lightsaber, before we actually shot it. So, pretty intense. How many movies has Samuel L. Jackson been in? I have no idea. I don't keep count. I just keep getting up. Going to work. Blast that! More Wikipedia. Jackson has a clause in his film contracts that allows him to play golf during film shoots. Yes, I do. And they pay for it. I hope I've answered your questions and I answered them sufficiently. If I didn't, get fired.
Oh, you have a superhero movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. It's about a guy named Matt Murdock who becomes a superhero named Daredevil. Oh, can he dive off rooftops like Spider-Man? Well, he's blind with heightened senses, so I don't really think that would make sense. People like Spider-Man, though. He dives off of rooftops. Yeah, okay, but this guy doesn't have him dive off of rooftops like Spider-Man. I mean, okay, we can have him dive off a rooftop like Spider-Man, but then what does he do? He can, land on a window washing platform. That'll make it okay. Oh, that doesn't seem less dangerous than landing on the ground, though. We can pretend like it is. Well, okay then. So anyway, we're gonna meet Matt when he's a kid, and his dad, who's a boxer, makes him promise that he's not gonna hit anything but the books. Okay. And one day he sees that his dad is working for the mob, so he runs away but gets biohazard juice in his eyes. Oh, biohazard juice is tight. Yeah, so he loses his vision, but his other senses get super heightened, like sound is crazy overwhelming. Oh, very cool. Yeah, so later Matt's dad is supposed to be throwing a boxing match for the mob, but Matt is in the audience like, come on, Dad, get up. If sounds are so overwhelming, how can Matt hear what's going on in the fight in the middle of a cheering crowd? I don't know. Fair enough. So then later his dad gets killed in an alley and, Bruce is super sad. Did you say Bruce? Nope. So then he vows to keep the promise he made to his dad, to serve justice. I thought the promise was to hit nothing but books. Oh yeah, he doesn't like that though, so he trains for the opposite of that. Well, okay then. So grown-up Matt is a lawyer now, and he's trying to convict a bad guy for something terrible, something that rhymes with grape. Oh, okay. Yeah, like crepe, like he made a bad batch of pancakes. No, think much worse than that. Oh, yeah. Jeez, yeah, that's real bad. Yeah, and this guy's barely even trying to hide the fact that he's guilty. Okay. And so Daredevil uses his super hearing to listen to the guy's heart and then be like, yeah, no, this guy's definitely guilty. Even though that was completely obvious? Even though it was completely obvious. And so how does that help him win the case? Oh, it doesn't. He loses. Oh. Yeah, but then his whole thing is that at night he dresses up like Daredevil to go serve justice himself. Because he's so bad at being a lawyer? Exactly, yeah. Gotcha. So he goes to this hardcore bar where the guy's hanging out and gets into a big fight with all the people there. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's gonna be super cool. They're all gonna shoot guns at him, but he can hear the bullets, so he dodges them. Oh, maybe we could have some Nickelback playing. Spider-Man had Chad Kroeger. That's a good move, because everybody loves Nickelback, and they always will. Anyway, so the fight ends up in a subway station, but Daredevil gets all messed up because the train is too loud. How come the sound of a passing train messes him up, but the sounds of a bunch of guns firing helped him out? I don't know how loud things are. Fair enough. So anyway, then he pushes the guy onto the tracks and he gets killed by a train. Oh my god. Yeah, so then the police show up and this journalist guy is like, this is the work of Daredevil, and they're like, no, it's not. Okay. So then the guy's like, oh yeah, and he throws a match onto the ground and this big DD symbol lights on fire. Wait, what? Yeah, pretty cool calling card, right? His calling card is a thing that doesn't work unless someone decides to start a fire at a crime scene. Well, it sounds silly when you say it like that. Can you explain it in a non-silly way? Get off my back. Oh, okay, let me get off of that thing real quick. Anyway, so later Matt's at a coffee shop with his partner Foggy, and he smells a hot girl walk by outside. He can smell attractiveness through windows. Yeah, he smells how hot she is, so then he uses his blindness as an excuse to go hit on her. Oh, this guy's a creep. No, it's romantic. So anyway, he follows her to a park and grabs her by the arm because he wants to know her name. This guy's gonna get arrested. No, because it's flirty to grab women you don't know by the wrist on the street. Is it though? Yeah, that's how I met my girlfriend. Really? Yeah, and she fell fell so in love with me that she had to get a restraining order. What? That's when you love somebody so much that you can't restrain yourself around them, so you get the police involved. That's not what that is. Anyway, so she starts to fight Matt, and he starts to fight back, and it leads to this big martial arts showdown in the playground. What is going on? They're flirting. He's trying to hit a woman, and she's trying to hit a blind man. They're both coming off horribly in the situation. Horribly romantic. So anyway, she tells him that her name is Elektra Nachios, and her dad is a billionaire. Okay. And it turns out that this bad guy, the Kingpin, wants him dead. Oh, yeah, okay, so who are the bad guys in this thing? Oh, well, we've got Kingpin and then Bullseye. Okay, and what are their deals? Oh, well, Kingpin is super big. And what about Bullseye? Well, he's good at aiming and also super Irish, I guess. Oh, he is? Yeah, in fact, Kingpin flies him in from Ireland, and he kills an old lady on the plane. Oh my god, what? Yeah, she won't stop talking, so he murders her with a peanut. Does this character have anything else going on other than being pure evil? Of course. Did I mention he's Irish? You did, yeah. Oh, well then I pretty much covered it. Oh, okay. So then Bullseye's gonna end up killing Elektra's dad with Daredevil's weapon, so she thinks he did it. Uh-oh. Yeah, she's real mad, so she starts training by stabbing falling sandbags in her mansion. What? How are the sandbags falling? Unclear. Huh. So then she wants to kill Daredevil, but she gets in a fight with Bullseye and she dies. Oh, death is usually permanent. Usually, yeah. So then Daredevil and Bullseye get in a symbolism fight in a church, and Daredevil throws him out a window. Wow, he's not messing around. Definitely not. So then he goes to confront Kingpin, because Kingpin's the one who killed his dad and has been ordering all this evil stuff. Oh, so they fight? Yeah, they do. But right when you think Daredevil's gonna kill him, he doesn't. Why not? Because he's like, I'm not the bad guy. Didn't he throw Bullseye out a window like a couple of minutes ago? He did, but I guess he grew a lot in those past couple of minutes. Wow, very sudden character growth. Yeah, so then Kingpin is like, you know I'm gonna get right out of jail, right? And Daredevil's like, yeah, and I'll be right there waiting for you. To do what? To put him in jail again eventually, I guess. But he'll just get out again and eventually be put back in, hopefully. I don't understand what Daredevil's going for here. Justice. I mean... Okay, and so yeah, that's about it. Well, sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, and I was actually hoping we could maybe do an Elektra spin-off, but that's gonna be hard now that she's dead. Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, we'll just give her one of those non-permanent deaths. Oh, that'll make for a good movie. Hey guys, it's Ryan here. Hope you enjoyed that pitch. Yes, but he'll just get out again and eventually be put back in, hopefully. I don't understand what Daredevil's going for here. Justice. I mean... Okay, and so yeah, that's about it. Well, sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, and I was actually hoping we could maybe do an Elektra spin-off, but that's gonna be hard now that she's dead. Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, we'll just give her one of those non-permanent deaths. Oh, that'll make for a good movie. Hey guys, it's Ryan here. Hope you enjoyed that pitch meeting. We have a ton of these on the channel that you can...
One of the things that audiences love the most about Family Guy is how little the creators care about being politically correct. They will do and say just about anything to get a laugh and worry about the repercussions later, or not at all. It is totally unbelievable that they got away with these jokes on TV when some of us can't even imagine saying them out loud to another person. Well, we'll start off a bit more mild and work our way into the really dark stuff. This first joke is surprising mostly for the fact that censors at the conservative Fox network let it get on the air in the first place. During a Halloween episode, Peter answers the door to a costumed Quagmire. While Quagmire is playing it pretty safe in a Napoleon Dynamite costume, Peter and Lois have taken a slightly more political route. Peter tells Quagmire that he's dressed as former First Lady Laura Bush, and Lois is the guy that she killed. And then they proceed to stand there and remind the audience that she did in fact kill a 17-year-old boy in a car accident and faced no consequences. After the Bill Cosby scandal broke, we all knew that it was only a matter of time before the minds behind Family Guy got their hands on it. And boy did they ever. While everyone is watching TV, we hear an introduction for the show that is coming up next, which is referred to as The Cosby Show Knowing What We Know Now. And then they cut to a reimagined version of the classic TV opening where Bill Cosby is still dancing around wearing a colorful sweater, but with the addition of every female cast member asleep, presumably having been drugged by Cosby. It gets worse from there, but we'll let you see for yourself. Some of the younger viewers of the show might not be too familiar with this next joke, but for those who do get it, they know how seriously black Family Guy's humor has gotten over the years. At a school recital, it's revealed that Stewie is performing in a show called Terry Schiavo the Musical. If you don't know, Terry Schiavo is a woman who fell ill, ending up in an incurable vegetative state, and the legal case surrounding whether or not her husband had the right to take her off life support, as she would have wished to become a national sensation. And, of course, this is a terrible subject for an elementary school musical. Only in Quahog. Back in an earlier episode, Family Guy made a couple of jokes about former presidents that are pretty dark all around, but seem almost mild to the bar that they've raised for themselves ever since. In this bit, we see a boy leaving a store holding up his brand new JFK Pez dispenser, really happy about his purchase. Of course, almost immediately, a bullet flies by and takes off its head. Just when you thought that would be the end of it, the kid pulls out another new toy that he's still happy to have. And what else could it be but a Bobby Kennedy Pez dispenser? Ouch. The Elizabeth Smart case became a national sensation after the 14-year-old girl was abducted and held captive for 9 weeks. While she was eventually rescued, the details of her time in captivity are a nightmare. So, of course, that makes her the perfect fuel for a classic Family Guy bit. In an interview with her parents after her rescue, Elizabeth can be seen in the background gently playing the harp. While it seems as though things are back to normal in the Smart household, what her father says next takes a sharp turn back to reality. He says that while she plays beautiful songs on her harp, most of them are about, well, just about the worst thing that can happen to a human being. Because cancer affects so many people all over the world, some shows might go to lengths to avoid cracking jokes about it. But not our friends over at Family Guy. In a cutaway, we see a man who is clearly going through chemotherapy, supposedly inventing the idea of tying a bandana around his head to cover up his dramatic hair loss. He calls for his wife, who exclaims that he doesn't even look like he's sick anymore. At the very end of the awesome episode 3 Kings, that makes an excellent parody of 3 of Stephen King's most famous stories, they take a crack at the deceased actor and his brother Joaquin that might make fans of the late actor flinch. The episode's narrator talks about how River Phoenix overdosed outside of the famous nightclub, the Viper Room, and was ignored as he convulsed for 5 minutes. And then, just to get in another dig, he refers to Joaquin as the hair-lift reminder of what might have been. For some reason, Family Guy's really become obsessed with Michael J. Fox in their later seasons. They went from making a ton of Back to the Future jokes early on to making joke after joke about his debilitating battle with Parkinson's disease. One of the longest bits they've done about it is when Peter sets up a cutaway about why he only has 2 white shirts. He had a third, but it was ruined at a wine tasting at Fox's house. Then, instead of cutting away to the scene, we simply cut to Peter standing alone explaining to the audience that showing the scene would just be too sad. And then they show it. Because Family Guy. We love a classic Family Guy cutaway. While stowing away in an attic in complete silence during World War II with Anne Frank and her family, Peter decides that now is the best time for a salty snack, and goes about munching loudly on a bag of chips. The crunch sounds resonate throughout the house, and Anne and her family are discovered. Peter's done some bad stuff in his day, but this has to be one of the worst. For a baby, Stewie has gotten into some seriously messed up situations. None more creepy than the episode in which he actually impregnates himself with Brian's babies so his family dog will have to pay more attention to him. We have so many feelings about this seriously messed up storyline, the biggest of which is how Family Guy even managed to make that funny. After becoming worried that Brian is losing interest in him, Stewie steals Brian's DNA and somehow impregnates himself with it without Brian knowing about it. And then he actually gives birth, or whatever you'd call it, to a disturbing litter of weird Brian-Stewie hybrid puppy things that really should never have existed. There are certain subjects that make television censors even more uncomfortable than they might actually make audiences, and that's why an entire episode of Family Guy was pulled from the air. In this particular episode, an old friend of Lois asks Lois if she would ever carry a child for her, and Lois agrees. But unfortunately, the woman passes away while Lois is still pregnant, which leads Lois to decide to terminate her pregnancy. This is, of course, one of the most hot-button subjects in American politics, so it's not exactly surprising that the Fox network didn't go for it. One episode that caused quite a bit of controversy among audiences was the one where they meet Quagmire's sister Brenda and her abusive boyfriend. While part of the episode is definitely about how wrong the way he treats her is and what a terrible person he is, there is no shortage of jokes at Brenda's expense. There's a running theme throughout about how Brenda is dumb for staying with her terrible boyfriend, and while she should find a way to leave, critics were not happy with this one-sided portrayal. Most people agree that the issue is way more layered and complicated than that, but Family Guy has no problem taking a stance and sticking to it, with no attention paid to what critics have to say. When Meg and Chris both end up at the same Halloween party, they unknowingly end up in a closet for a game of 7 Minutes in Heaven together. Of course, they can't tell because they're both in costume, but eventually the door is opened and the pair realize what exactly they've been doing. It's something that might make any sibling want to shower for 2 years straight, but Meg and Chris actually wind up feeling pretty chill about it. Ugh. Oh, Quagmire. We never know whether to love or loathe the Lothario who lives next door, but in this particular case, we're gonna go with loathe. The rivalry between Family Guy and The Simpsons has never been a secret, and this one bit featuring Quagmire really threw a whole bunch of fuel onto the fire. Towards the end of one episode, a fake promo for The Simpsons appears on screen with Marge waving at the camera. Quagmire enters and actually drags Marge off screen as she fights him. After, they re-enter and end up back in The Simpsons' house, where Quagmire actually winds up murdering the entire family. It's fair to say that they got a little bit of backlash about that one. While we could go on and on about the messed up Quagmire moments over the course of the show's history, there is one that sticks out a bit more above the rest. In the episode where Quagmire winds up trying to raise his surprise baby girl, it almost seemed as though she would be enough to make him change his womanizing ways. But in the end, he decides he's not the right person to raise little Anna Lee and says goodbye to her. Of course, the goodbye turns super creepy when he remarks, "Who knows, maybe I'll run into her in 18 years, prompting a who else but Quagmire from the show and the audiences alike. While gun violence in schools has become far too regular of an occurrence in the United States, it still seems like way too sensitive of a subject to make fun of on TV. And yet, joking about sensitive subjects on TV is exactly what Family Guy does best. In an episode where Peter and Lois trade places with Meg and Chris, Peter is figuring out what to wear to school. First, he comes out dressed as a teen girl, before Lois tells him to change. His next choice is the stereotypical outfit of a troubled teen, complete with camouflage pants, long black coat, and a huge gun. He claims he's planning to make the popular kids pay, but thankfully Lois tells him once again to change. There was one more Michael J. Fox joke that we had to include here, because Family Guy just really seems intent on poking as much fun at the actor as humanly possible. In the episode where Peter gets a parrot and then becomes a pirate, his parrot unfortunately dies. This leads Peter to set up a cutaway gag that seems totally out of the blue and doesn't really make any sense at all. He says that he's made a huge mistake, just like Disney did when they cast Fox in the remake of The Mask of Zorro. We then cut to two men who point to an insignia left on the wall by a masked man, which turns out to just be one giant scribble. Family Guy has let it slip on more than one occasion that the Griffins have actually had more children than just Meg, Stewie, and Chris. In one short cutaway, we find Peter and Lois holding each other and crying in a cemetery in front of a tombstone with Peter Griffin Jr. written on it. Peter tells Lois that he thought shaking him would get Peter Jr. to stop crying. This bit made a huge impression when it first aired. The now classic Prom Night Dumpster Baby song is disturbing, not only for what the song is about, but also for how dang catchy it is. Not exactly the tune you want to be caught singing to yourself in public, this song is a woeful tale of a baby who was ditched in a garbage bin on prom night. It's extremely upsetting to think about, and only Family Guy could turn something that terrible into an upbeat musical number that fans would be singing for years to come. No one but Family Guy would ever conceive of the idea of having a barbershop quartet sing a dying hospital patient their diagnosis, and that's exactly what they did. The You Have AIDS barbershop quartet is possibly the most infamous Family Guy joke of all time, and for good reason. It's super dark, but in the silliest of ways, and one of those jokes that you can't help but laugh at, even if it is in a pained, groaning sort of way. Sometimes it's amazing. We have come a long way with special effects. It seems like just yesterday that X-Men came out and we let this fly. Now our standards are much higher. There is truly no limit to what we can create on a computer, and it has changed the game entirely. Over the past couple of years, we've been spoiled rotten with movies like Tron, Deadpool, and what feels like 1,000 Avengers movies that are breaking new cinematic ground. Today, we'll be looking at 25 scenes that look totally different after special effects. Join us as we uncover the secrets of movie magic. For any of you who couldn't quite come to terms with the fact that the Harry Potter movies had ended, you probably filled that void by rushing to the theaters when Fantastic Beasts came out. We were as happy as you were to see the wizarding world living on, chock full of more magical creatures than we can count or remember the names of. In this video that VFX Studio Image Engine released, we can see what the escape scene looked like before any visual effects were added. We're thinking Eddie Redmayne's audition for Newt Scamander probably just consisted of him shouting at things that weren't really there. The iconic scene where Gollum is engaged in a particularly heated conversation with himself looks a whole lot different before special effects. Andy Serkis, the actor who played Gollum/Smeagol, was very much a pioneer in using motion capture acting. This means he got to dress up in a skin-tight onesie that had sensors all over in order to track his movement. We will admit that in the final product, his character looks a whole lot more sinister and less like he's wearing an alternative wetsuit. We all remember the part in The Matrix where Neo does that incredible backbend to dodge oncoming bullets, right? Even if you haven't seen the movie, you've probably seen it, or at least experienced someone in your life trying to reproduce it to no avail. Sorry in advance for bursting any bubbles, but Keanu Reeves had a little help with this insane feat. As we see here, he was strung up with multiple wires and was surrounded by green screen. Later, with a dash of movie magic, Neo looks as though he's performing one of the most memorable acrobatics in all of motion picture history. In Black Panther, the hidden African nation of Wakanda is a vibrant and powerful capital that is brimming with life and overflowing with advanced technology. While in the film, we see the characters interact with the space as if it was any other set, in actuality, they were often surrounded by green screen. Hannah Beachler was in charge of production design and did an incredible job of creating a version of an African nation that could have developed without the violent intrusion of Western colonization. When the first Star Wars movies were being made, visual effects were not used in the same way we use them today. You couldn't just hop on a computer and create a whole universe. Okay, maybe that's oversimplifying modern tech a wee bit. You had to make most things by hand. The company Industrial Light and Magic was formed to tackle effects, and they did a stand-up job. In A New Hope, when we first see the Millennium Falcon flying, what we're really looking at is actually a handmade model. James Cameron made movie history when he took on making Avatar. Instead of getting actors to dress up in slinky loincloths and painting them blue, he decided to use performance capture. This was like the Gollum technique we saw in Lord of the Rings, but instead of just one character, it was multiple. He and his team created an entire world where actors could express themselves as they normally would in a scene, and their performance would translate into their CG character. This is what the first kiss between Neytiri and Jake looked like before and after VFX. Okay, Game of Thrones isn't technically a movie, but the production quality is right up there, so we'll let this one slide. Ever wonder where the Queen of Dragons would be without her fiery friends? Here's a little taste. There is so much in Game of Thrones that has been added after filming, it's incredible to look at the before and after shots. Remember the sea battle in Season 7, Episode 2? Well, instead of setting up a fleet of ships and setting them ablaze, they filmed this in a more controlled environment. A car park in Northern Ireland, to be exact. This scene was made possible with a little extra help from green screens that reached 60 feet in height. In the Chronicles of Narnia, Jadis the White Witch, played by Tilda Swinton, has a particularly chilling palace, one that makes Elsa's from Frozen look like a child's snow fort. In the scene where Lucy, Susan, and Peter go out looking for their traitor brother Edmund, they come across said castle. While in the movie they stand taking it all in actuality they were just staring at a wall. The movie Inception is almost impossible to wrap your head around. It is both pleasantly perplexing and also incredibly hard to keep track of the many layers. With its detailed and fantastical dream sequences, it became known as a true champion of visual effects. The scene where Cobb and Ariadne trudge through water in the dream landscape Limbo was actually filmed in Morocco. The crew found a group of buildings that they used as their base, then brought in water for the actors to walk through. Visual effects were added later to fill out the buildings, but there was a great balance of computer graphics and real photography. The live-action version of Alice in Wonderland, directed by Tim Burton, is a visual feast. In the scene where Alice falls down the rabbit hole, on the way down we see her screaming, flailing, and narrowly dodging multiple objects. For this scene, a lot of different techniques were used to capture the moment. First off, they had actress Mia Wasikowska on a wire rig flapping about as they swung her around. Ah, the glamorous life of an actor. Then, after the footage was complete, visual effects artists went in and added her surroundings, including the piano that almost hits her in the face. In the opening scene of Avengers Infinity War, Bruce Banner crashes into Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. While it is set in the streets of New York City, for this sequence an entire set was created. We can see from this footage how much went into this action-packed sequence. First off, there's the basic environment that was expertly designed as a base. Then there was the giant Q-ship which sucks up the city. To top it off, they needed to add the CG animated characters along with their weapons and costumes. Hats off to the crew for pulling this one off. We can safely say that Gravity is one of the most stressful movies of all time. If anyone has a fear of space and hasn't seen the movie yet, we do not recommend it. For those of you who have seen it and are still kept up at night thinking of Sandra Bullock floating off into space, these behind-the-scenes breakdowns may help. In the scene where all hell breaks loose, Dr. Ryan Stone is hanging onto her ship for dear life. And we're happy to know that Bullock was actually safe at home on planet Earth and that this scene was almost entirely created by a computer. Thank God. At the end of the Hunger Games series, when the beloved Mockingjay leads the final uprising against the Capitol, a large battle breaks out. The opposing team takes it a little too far, and it ends in the death of Prim and multiple innocent children. For this scene, the crew had to create two sets that together reached around 900 feet in length. One crew member said it was one of the largest green screens he had seen before. Seems like they weren't shy about going big for the finale. When you think of the life of Pi, your mind immediately conjures up images of Pi on a tiny boat in the middle of the ocean, fending off flying fish and trying not to get hit by a whale with a Bengal tiger by his side. In the scene where Pi is first introduced to his feline friend, he does the reasonable thing and decides to jump ship. We can see from this VFX breakdown, actor Suraj Sharma had to stand on an actual boat that was rocking about and fend off the imaginary cat. In The Dark Knight, Harvey Dent's character starts out as such a good guy. He seems like a trustworthy protector of Gotham who is pure of heart and can give Batman a break from all of his world saving. As we know, things take a turn when he loses Rachel and gets half his face burnt off. During the scene when the Joker visits Harvey in the hospital, he is completely disfigured. Here's what it looked like before visual effects burnt the flesh off. Arguably one of the most dangerous activities a kid can be involved with at Hogwarts is flying, if they're not busy fighting off the Dark Lord himself. Quidditch, the school sport, encourages children to fly through the air at alarming speeds, all while trying not to get hit by an oncoming bludger. In this footage from The Prisoner of Azkaban, we can see what it looked like before the effects were added. In Jurassic World, we're brought back to a place where humans are making the worst mistake possible by bringing dinosaurs back to life. Only this time, they're inviting families into a theme park where they can see the creatures for themselves. In the scene where pterodactyls are wreaking havoc upon the poor souls who paid to be there, we see the young boys trying to run away from their bad decisions. In the original footage, it looked much different. Check it out. Does every action actor have to frantically run from things that aren't there? It's really seeming that way. Probably one of the most romantic scenes that was recreated for live action was the dance sequence in Beauty and the Beast. Who doesn't love a beast dressed to the nines while Mrs. Teapot sings her hit single Tale as Old as Time? It's a true classic moment. In the version where Emma Watson played Belle, things looked a little different during preliminary filming. Take a look at what the Beast looks like without his dapper suit. While all new movies are overflowing with so much computer-generated content you can scarcely see anything real, there are some films that use it sparingly. One of the most underrated scenes that uses visual effects is in Forrest Gump. When Forrest meets JFK, he shakes his hand when nature is calling. This was the first time a film used what is called digital erasing. Archival footage was used of the president, and with the help of techniques such as image warping and rotoscoping, Tom Hanks was integrated into it. The Twilight team had a lot on their plate figuring out how to make vampires and werewolves and Kristen Stewart's acting look believable. If you're Team Edward, this footage may change your opinion. In this scene, Jacob stands by Bella's side in solidarity, and she repays him by completely friend-zoning him and giving him a scratch on the head. Seeing Taylor Lautner play the wolf version of himself in his gray suit is enough to convert even the biggest Rob Pat fan. Another classic Disney moment that was redone for live action was the bare necessities scene in The Jungle Book. In the film, we see Mowgli using Baloo as a raft when they sing "Forget About Your Worries and Your Strife." As we can see from this clip, during filming, director Jon Favreau got into the water and played opposite of Neil Sethi, who played Mowgli, in order to get the performance he wanted. In the final version, Bill Murray stepped in to voice the Big Bear. Deadpool wasn't just any superhero movie. It gave R-rated a whole new meaning, and also showed us innovative ways to use VFX, breaking new ground for action movies. In this breakdown reel, we see the scene where Deadpool has finally tracked down his nemesis, Francis. Within 4 minutes, he has jumped off a bridge, hijacked a car, and killed 3 people with 1 bullet. The Atomic Fiction team were in charge of not only generating CG characters in their fight sequences, but also the vehicles exploding and the surrounding environment. Let's take it back to 1997 to take a closer look at Oscar-winning film Titanic. As you probably can guess, there were multiple techniques used to make the ship look as though it was sinking, but that's not what we want to focus on. Before everything goes to pieces, literally, the character Jack is happy on board, excited for his life ahead in New York. We found this behind-the-scenes footage of the scene where Jack says the iconic line, "I'm the king of the world!" If you've seen X-Men Apocalypse, then you definitely remember the scene where Quicksilver runs around saving everyone while the mansion implodes around him. This scene was filmed with a Phantom camera which runs 3,000 frames per second. That means something that happens in a blink of an eye can be slowed down to around 15 seconds. During filming, the crew was able to simulate a real explosion and send the camera through it at 90 miles per hour, catching every detail as it passed. Pretty impressive. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson absolutely outdid himself when he played the role of Will Sawyer in 2018's Skyscraper. While the film is basically a giant excuse to get The Rock hanging off big buildings, the visual effects are actually pretty incredible and will satisfy any action movie addict. While The Rock did a ton of stunts for this film himself without rigs, there were a couple of moments where he had some help. In the scene where he has to jump from one building to another, we can see how they did it. We hope you enjoyed watching these scenes with us.
I love the British band Oasis. The group was founded by two brothers, Noel and Liam Gallagher. Hard partying, brilliant and obnoxious. One time during a recording session, Noel attacked Liam with a cricket bat. They were like the Beatles, but with less meditation and more cocaine. And it didn't take a meddling girlfriend to break them up. In 2009, after a huge fight with his brother, Noel quit the band and started Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. Now, Noel Gallagher is one of my heroes. I bet we have loads of stuff in common. I like to party, I'd love to quit my job, and I think my brother's a too. I'm pretty sure by the end of this, we're gonna be best friends.
Thank you, Noel, for being on the show. Pleasure. You're like my favourite person in the world. I know, that's very sweet of you. Isn't it nice? It's moving, actually. It is nice. It is moving. Why are you on my show? Why would you do this? Well, the honest answer, or the showbiz answer. I'll have the honest. The honest answer is I'm doing Jimmy Kimmel, which is just around the corner, and I have a couple of hours. And I thought, we'll throw this lad a bone, seems though he claims he knows me. I appreciate that. I used to live in Manchester. Lived there for 2 years. Yeah, did you? Do you miss Manchester? Yeah, I do miss it a little bit, yeah. That's it. You talk about your relationship with your father and that you used to hit you and etc. etc. The guy kicked the living daylights out of me. I was hit by my mother, but I don't think I was hit enough because you're amazing. Right? I was just hit a reasonable amount to be good. Right? Michael Jackson was amazing. He got leathered. And he got leathered. He got leathered. You don't get Michael Jackson through positive reinforcement. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me. How's your relationship with him now? Is it? I haven't seen him for, what, 20 odd years? So, not good? You miss Oasis? I miss playing the guitar and not being a frontman. I miss that sometimes. I sometimes miss that, but I much prefer the vibe of what I do now. What keeps you going? The way the world is now. If you've got it in you to put out art, then you should. Because there's enough shit in the world as it is and on the internet and on YouTube and all that people like us, we have to do more. People like us? It's happening. Noel and I can start our own band. What bands do you like now? Guitar bands are shite these days. So we're in this bar in Hollywood after a gig, and this guy said, "Excuse me, can you just come and say I'm a really big fan?" And he's like, "Really inspired me to play and all that." So I'm like, "I know what band you're in." So I'm in the bass player in the Maroon 5. I'm Maroon 5. Shit. How the have you got Maroon 5 from what I'm doing? She got out of my sight. Anyway, so we all pile in these cars and go to this party. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, coming out of the toilet, the bass player from Maroon 5 is stood there waiting to get in the bathroom. And I'm like, are you still here? And he went, "This is my house." And I was like, this is a great house. In my career, I've been drunk on stage several times. I'm a little lit right now. I've been very open about my cocaine taking, as you have, both in lyrics and in just talking about taking drugs. How are you going to tell your 2 sons and your daughter how you don't take drugs? The drugs are not dangerous, it's the people that take them. Yeah, you got to be good at it. Well, I was really good at it. I was great at it. Come out the other side. An idiot. I spoiled it for the rest of us. I can drive fast in a car. It's all these other driving around me who are no good. Yeah, you got to slow down for them. You've got to accommodate them. Well, look, I think there's a lot of things that are a lot more dangerous than drugs. Obviously, now in America we have all the problems with guns and school shootings and stuff like that. Small guns are not the answer. Well, statistically, it's more dangerous to be a school teacher in America than being a cop and prison.
Saying the president doesn't help us, is it? Saying what we need is arm the teachers.
So what do you think of Trump?
I was having him for the comedy value.
Yeah.
I like the men.
I think they're a lot more dangerous than drugs, obviously. Now in America we have all the problems with guns and school shootings and stuff like that.
More guns are not the answer, are they?
Well, statistically it's more dangerous to be a school teacher in America than being a cop in Britain.
Saying the president doesn't help us, is it? Saying what we need is arm the teachers.
So what do you think of Trump?
I was having him for the comedy value.
Yeah.
I like the mental image of him sitting in bed on a Saturday evening in his underpants having a Twitter spat with the guy from North Korea.
What is your opinion on social media and all that?
I think it's the biggest waste of energy that's ever been landed upon the human race.
I'm with you. Can you tell the people at Comedy Central who make me tweet every day for no apparent reason?
Only squares on social media. There is no cool people on it. It's for idiots.
Yeah.
Who have nothing better to do than sit around and, photograph food.
My son has more photographs taken of him in a day than I had of my entire childhood.
I feel like this is going great. I mean, we ate all the same stuff. But there's still one thing I'm dying to ask.
One last question. I've been a lifelong fan, and I know I shouldn't be asking this, but I'd kick myself if I didn't ask. You like me?
I must say, I've seen you pissed on the telly.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Either way, what I can tell you is that I consistently find conservatives and people on the right will continue having a discussion. They're willing to hate abortion. They're willing to hate things like marijuana or talking about gay marriage. And they're willing to do it respectfully. And I think your children understand on the right. When you say, well, you just want to just angry that they're unwilling to see the woman ever get told their position. Yeah, well, they're starting to get kind of kicked out. I mean, I just know that I don't understand questions.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on.
Ground protection falling. Product constructed.
much.